What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, here on Industry Talk, and welcome to Primetime Pod, the hottest information resource outlet for all things entertainment, breaking news, celebrity interviews, and the hot topics of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, we're on it. Just Google us. Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime.
Okay. And he got prime time vibe. Make sure you check it
How? Why the fuck you think he is? He say that.
out.
And second bill a whole lot.
Now I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
They go trap.
What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, coming at you all the way live. I'm in your space and I'm in your face, and I'm definitely blessed to be living another day. It is March 3rd, 2026. We have a nice cool breeze here in the great state of Mississippi, but I can tell you, just like today's conversation, it is going to be hot, ladies and gentlemen. I can assure you. I've been blessed with the opportunity to sit in this virtual studio with a wonderful guest, a couple of wonderful guests today. Of course, comedian Jarrell Braswell will be tuning in. Curvy and Capone are supposed to be chiming in a little bit later on. And of course, our special guest for today, Mr. Foster V. Corder, will be joining me. And of course, this is a privilege. We're not just having a conversation, we're stepping inside the mind of a man who has helped shape cinematic culture from behind the lens. We're talking about a visionary, a historian, a protector of legacy, a veteran filmmaker, producer, and director with over 45 years in the industry. Mr. Corder, this man who didn't just work in the business, he built in the business. Co-founder of Blackbird Films, director of music video production at Capitol Records, founder of Daughters to Feed film production company. And let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be honest about a lot of things. The true owner of the rights to the Dolemite name and franchise. The man who spent over 2 decades helping preserve and produce the Dolemite movies, not just documenting culture, but protecting it. Tonight, we introduce you to the mastermind behind more than 55 independent films, and I could be wrong, there may be more in the shoot. A storyteller who understands that power isn't always in front of the camera. Sometimes it's behind it. Sometimes it's in the paperwork. Sometimes it's in the ownership. Like I said, we're also going to be joined by Curvy Capone, voices of the culture, as we unpack this legacy, rights, storytelling, longevity, and what it truly means to survive and thrive in this industry for nearly half a century. This is not just surface conversation. This is some game from one of the best who has ever done it through every era, analog to digital, film reels to streaming platforms. So if you're an artist, a filmmaker, producer, entrepreneur, tonight is a masterclass, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is definitely a masterclass. And right now I'm going to bring to the stage our special guest for the evening, Mr. Corder, Foster Corder. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Man, I heard you talking, and I was like, damn, who's that?
Come on, man, stop. You know doggone well.
He got a hell of a guest.
No.
I said he got a hell of a guest coming on. I wanna hear this. Thank you so much.
And I really do believe that I shortchanged you, because you know that there's so much more to your story, so much more to what you've brought to the table in the genre of film, music video production and the like, and we're gonna get into it. But I want to bring to the stage Kirby Capone as well. Do you know Kirby?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know Kirby?
Kirby and I have been creating the next wave. See,
Okay.
after the daughters, we got some stuff coming, baby.
Gotcha. All right, and we're gonna get into it, man, because this is my connection to you. Kirby Capone, you know what I'm saying? She said she would be willing to come on the show today at the last minute. And she said, you know what? You need to talk to Foster Carter. I said, okay, no problem. But she didn't know that I knew who you was. You get what I'm saying? I said, you can't just threaten me with no good time and be like, you know, hey, I'm just getting somebody you might or might not know who he is. The rest of the world might not know the way that they should know. But shit, when I saw Dolemite, man, please, come on. So I said humbly, and I didn't want to show her how excited I was. Because I didn't want to show her that. I said, yeah, let's see if he'll do it.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, man, we had the blessing to have you on the show. So let me get Kirby on the stage.
Okay.
Hold on just a second.
Sure.
Kirby, what's going on?
How y'all doing?
Oh man, having a wonderful time. You see who I have on stage with me, don't you?
Yes, the amazing GOAT of the film industry. He is the wizard of film. And it is such an honor to work alongside him. Oh my gosh. You just don't know how good it is to work with somebody so experienced in this craft.
Right.
You know, I'm just starting out with my films, but he's been in it for a long time, and he can say, Kirby, you're doing this wrong, you know, and, you know, say, this is how you're supposed to do it, not like that.
Right.
And, you know, I really look up to him because he's such an inspiration, you know.
Okay. Well, he's definitely an inspiration. He's a legacy. He's a walking encyclopedia. Yeah. When I can just keep coming with the accolades and adjectives and the whole 9 yards, but I want you guys to hear it from Foster himself in terms of who he is, where he's from, what he's about. I mean, before he got into the studio a little bit earlier, and he had to mention that his family is originally from Mississippi. Y'all know I'm in Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi. I'm Mississippi born and bred. So my question to him initially was, you know, how do you get from Mississippi into Chicago? So let's start there. You know what I'm saying? From early years, Brother Foster.
Okay. Well, let me say this though first. I haven't seen anything that Kirby has done wrong. Okay. So it's been a pleasure knowing Kirby so far and working with her. And she, you know, she told me, Foster, hey, I know this guy, Big G, and he owed me money. So if you want to be on his show, I can hook that up. So I said, well, I'm okay. How much money? She said, we ain't gonna talk about that. So forget about that part. We'll just get right to
why you put my business out there like that, Kirby?
Well,
so, yeah. What was the question?
It doesn't matter. You didn't put my mind back on my money, baby. The hell with the question.
So thank you so much for having me on, though, really. And
yes, indeed.
And you know, I'm thrilled to spread the word and celebrate, you know, Rudy Ray Moore's 99th birthday, man. That's such a huge thing because my family's from Mississippi. My mom, my dad, my older brother, my brother was born in Greenwood. My mom's from Money, Mississippi. And I still own property down there if I could live down there, but I just can't do that. And I'm in Los Angeles now by way of Chicago. And, you know, I'm from Chicago and I'm glad to be from Chicago, a long way from Chicago. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you saying you're a long way from Chicago, but there's a reason why you're a long way from Chicago. I mean, you know, back in the day, you was playing, you had an alter ego. You was a church boy. You was going to a Catholic school, getting
That's
a good
right.
education.
Wait,
And
you did
you know,
research?
at night you was out there running with the hooligans, the thugs, and the pea stones, and the
That's
you
right.
know. So give
That's
me a
the
little
hope.
history about that upbringing.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, it was Catholic school by day, street gang by night, sneaking out the window when my mom went to sleep. My mom worked 5 jobs. She was the secretary at the Catholic school we went to during the daytime. And she'd bring us home and we do our homework and she'd feed us and she'd go back to the school and she was the custodian at night. And she mopped floors and empty trash cans and buff floors. And she managed the apartment building we lived in for the German gentleman, Otto. And she ran a newspaper branch out of the basement of our building. We got all our friends together, like 6 of our friends. We delivered Chicago Sun-Times newspapers from 6 o'clock in the morning until time for us to go to school at 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then she drove taxi cab on the weekend. You know, so Jeanette Carter was a hustler, and I guess that's where I got my producer mentality from. Yeah, so that's then, you know, the street gangs just got a little bit much, and they ended up hog-tying me and my brother and 6 of our friends. Hog-tied us behind our back, hands behind our back, beat us for about 3 hours, and that was my motivation to go to Vietnam.
Well, hold on a second, bro, Foster. Hold on a second. Before we speed bump into that, you know, I mean, you were actually rolling with the clique for a moment there. You know what I mean? You know, we can't get beyond the point of, you know, y'all was shooting at y'all having that little crap game. Y'all won some money.
Yes. Oh,
you know, y'all leave the spot,
with my brother,
and y'all notice that the organization, the organization building, you know, which I live close to, next door to, if I'm not mistaken, they broken into the building.
Man, you did a lot of research, didn't you? You're a professional.
Come on, baby. Come on.
All right. Congratulations. No, I'll give you your props. Yeah, you know, you know some stuff. Definitely.
What I'm saying, you know, I mean, I had to do, you know, you do it deep when you have somebody with that's so honorable, that is such an icon. You cannot sit there and just wing it. You got to know what the hell you're talking about, man.
Well, thank you very much. So tell me this: how much time do we have? Because I hate to, you know, waste people's time, and so I want to talk about this movie, but I want to make sure. So I mean,
okay. Look here, let me explain it to you like this. We got all the time in the world, but I do understand what you're saying. Okay, let's clean the slate real quick and put all the most important information out there right quick. You know what I'm saying? The Daughters of Dolemite is going to be screening, and it's coming down the pipe real soon. You need to go to the website www.thedaughtersofdolemite.com and check out all of the content, all of the great actors and actresses that are participated in the movie. Man, Michael Collier. Oh, man, wait a minute. I got the man who did it. Man, tell them who in the movie, baby. Let them know who in
it.
Yeah.
You were doing great, my brother. But you did say it right. The website, and the most important thing going to the website is subscribe and become a member. So
that's right.
When this summer, when we do start coming across country to your city, you can be, made aware so you don't miss it, because there's 2 ways that the movie will be coming this summer. One is it'll be coming to city by city for a week or 2 at a time, or if one of these major studios picks us up, and I'm not going to really name any names until, and you know, but we're talking Sony.
When one of the studios. When?
Yeah,
No,
right.
yeah.
When? Okay. You know, it would come across country in wide release all at the same time. But God bless the child. So doing it Rudy Ray Moore style will be coming to a theater near you. So go to the website and sign up so you can stay aware, or go to social media and follow me, Foster Corder, Corder, like it says on the screen. Go to the Daughters of Dolemite, the Daughters of Dolemite, not with a D, but the way English, THE, the Daughters of Dolemite.com. Well, I mean, Daughters of Dolemite, Instagram and Facebook and yada, yada, yada. You know, I'm an old dude, so don't get me started on social media because I'm still trying to figure it out. Okay. I mess up a post every day. So,
now check this out. Watch this.
Yes,
Let me show you something right quick. Watch this. Pay attention to this right quick. I want y'all to tune in right now. Let me see if I can link this up the way it's supposed to. You know, I try to do my due diligence.
That's right. Well, I'm impressed so far. Look at you.
Lights flashing, yeah, the night gon' ignite. Daughters of Dolemite, and you damn fucking right. Directed by Foster Cordy, yeah, he running the show. 2 hours, 3 minutes, that funk gonna flow. 3 badass daughters gotta step up quick. Daddy Dolemite in trouble, yeah, some real shit. Heroes in the making, time run it thin. Comedy, action, soul, let the madness begin. Gary Sturgis bringing fire to the screen. Hawthorne James keeping everything mean. Kathleen Bradley still smooth as hell. Michael Collier got stories to tell. Tori Hart wildin', Joey Medina legit. K Riggs classy with that fly girl grit. Rama Monakabi, cool in the mix. Sia Ricarda, make the energy hit. Teresa Juntao, sharp and supreme. Anna Marte, keep it fresh on the scene. Whole damn cast bringing laughs and heat. This the kind of movie night you don't wanna cheat. So get them tickets now. Don't bullshit, move fast before the motherfucking seats are gone at last. Show up clean, loud, ready to vibe. Dolemite legacy still fucking alive.
Shit, who is that rapping? That was Kirby Capone.
Kirby Capone. Was that Kirby Capone on the mix?
Baby. She was throwing
okay.
She was throwing down.
Okay. You know, so I hope you don't think I was going to shortchange you on this interview, brother.
Oh man, you know, it's the dream team coming together there. I mean, and you asked me about, you know, the cast, and
yes,
people were jumping up there. I almost wish we could go frame by frame and as people come up. But Hawthorne James, my main man, and well, everybody in the movie is dear to my heart because, you know, this movie is an important movie as far as the industry goes and history, yes. Because and so you say we got time, so yeah,
we do.
There's several different levels, you know. Just the story itself, just to tell people a little bit about the story, because I haven't put out a official trailer because I'm saving that for Sony or Universal or even us for in the summertime, because when you put out a trailer, people think they know the movie and they lose interest, you know. And this movie game is so cold, you know. And again, that's why I say it's many different levels, because I want to talk about the recycling black dollars to the audience, and I want to talk about how we spend our dollars, our entertainment dollars, and all our dollars really. But when you see these studios all eating each other up, and Netflix is buying Warner Brothers and Paramount is buying, and they all spending billions of dollars, that's your money they spending. You wonder how they spending, how they buying that, but that's because y'all spending your money on streaming this stuff and on buying it. And you go into the Marvel movies over and over, and you can't get a black story told unless somebody says, okay, you know, it took 15 years to get Ray made. You know, it's how many times you going to get a Sinners, you know, it's like once every maybe 5-6 years. And then, you know, and then Black Panther, how long does that take? And because see, I come from the old school. I know I remember when they said, well, black movies don't sell well, and people scared to go to the theater, and black people don't sell well overseas, and there were no black actors in front of the camera, much less people behind the scenes making them. And now there's black actors who are called movie stars, and they making gazillion dollars, and they making movies, and they jumping in front of the camera, and a lot of people aren't aware and conscious to understand when that 5 minutes or 3 minutes of credits roll at the end. There's 300 jobs on a movie, a big studio movie, and there's a black lead, and most times, out of those 300 jobs, it might be 10 black folks. It's like, and I'm not talking racist, I'm talking survival. I'm talking where the tuition, where the mortgage payments, where all of the real stuff. If you're going to talk about the business of entertainment is people getting paid, and
Right.
I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying. I love everybody. You come to Thanksgiving dinner in our family, it's like a rainbow coalition. We got everybody in there because we were all married and cousins and dead and in the whole 9 yards. But if you go on a Scorsese movie set, you're going to find all Italians, from the person pouring coffee to the person driving him around to the camera. I mean, it's just the way it is. And you go on Robert Rodriguez set, you're going to find all 99.9% Mexicans. If you go on some of the Korean television and the Japanese, producers and television, you're going to find 90% of their people. And the shame and sadness but it's a result of 400 years of slavery. I totally get it. I'm not downing anybody. I feel sorry for us because that slave gene got into our DNA, and it's like intertwined in us because of 400 years of upstairs Negro hating the downstairs Negro, hating the kitchen Negro, hating the outside Negro, hating the Negro that's riding the horse, hating the Negro that's driving the wagon, hating the Negro that's picking the corn or the cotton, and that.
Let me interject something right quick.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Because and I'm fast tracking, but we're gonna go back.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop you and your friend from pressing production houses and studios and going to them and say, hey, you guys don't have any black film producers on your sets. That didn't stop you.
You and your research, my brother.
Talk to me.
Yes.
I mean, you were a pioneer in the game.
Yes, you're talking about Blackbird Films.
Blackbird Films, yes. Yeah.
Blackbird was started by me and my brother John Simmons. He's a cinematographer, one of the bigger, more successful, African-American cinematographers and director of photography in Hollywood. Shoots a lot of TV shows, got a couple of Emmys now on his fireplace. But we started Blackbird Films. I met Johnny on a set in downtown. He was working with Dash, Julie Dash, I think it was. They made Daughters of the Dust. He was shooting something at my friend Nathaniel Bellamy's studio downtown, and that's where we met. Some kind of way was, well, no, anyway. He was shooting pineapples for Dole in Hawaii. I went over and met him because we met downtown, and then I went over to Hawaii and we solidified the company because we met downtown. It's an echo. Anyway,
my computer came on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we came together and started Blackbird Films, which was the first African-American owned commercial production company in the country. And we kind of broke ground. We had list of a roster of directors. I have Gordon Parks, Bill Duke, Stan Lathan, Kevin Hooks, Helene Head, Nima Barnett, and a couple of Michael Peters. And we went to Procter & Gamble in New York and said, hey, you know, Black people and Latins and women are buying a lot of your products, and you don't have any of them in your commercial production, in production companies or directors or crews, you know. So the vice president of Procter & Gamble at that time, this was 1980, I think it was, and 79, 80, and he jumped on the phone and called 2 ad agencies and the presidents and said, hey, how come we don't have any African Americans in doing our commercial production, any of them? And the guys, because he had them on speakerphone, and they say, well, there aren't any. And he said, well, no, that's bullshit, you know, because I got 2 guys sitting in my office right now, and they got a company in LA, and they got a slew of directors with credits, and from there, we kind of blew up for about 2 years. We did the first California Lotto commercials, the first 3 or 4 that ever made when the Lotto started in California, and so many people got started in the business from that. And I was like, there's a Lotto commercial where it says, think big, play Lotto, dum, dum, dum. And the lady puts the lottery ticket down on the console of her car, and she's pouring champagne and picks up a lottery ticket. Well, that hand model, the ladies whose hand we use, is Dawn Gilliam. She ended up being the president of the Script Supervisors Union here in Hollywood. She was the script supervisor now on Black Panther and John Singleton's movies and F. Gary Gray, and you name all the big Black directors she's worked with. She's taught and mentored so many different script supervisors over the years that it's incredible, you know. And that 6 degrees of separation goes on into wardrobe people and camera people, and Johnny and I put more people in the unions than, you know, anybody since Roger Corman, I imagine. You know, we gave the start to a lot of people, just guys who were around the neighborhood, and they in LA, and they wanted to learn. And, you know, we just gave people opportunities to come in. They didn't know what a C-stand was, you know. So anyway, remember the BB King commercial where it was Mac Chicken, where they played it every time BB got sick, but it was like, bum, 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 bum. He said, hate to put you down, but what's that, Lucille? You know, so we did that, and that was a classic because it was one of the first times that McDonald's ever used celebrity talent, because, you know, most McDonald's commercials that you've seen over the years, it's always that everyman, you know, it's like nobody that's really famous. And we did it, McRib with Sinbad. Sinbad, yeah, people used to say, Sinbad, why is McRib sandwich only for a limited time? Yeah, that's because I gave him my recipe, you know. So it's a classic commercial. And
okay, well, let me ask you this right quick, Brother Corder.
Sure.
Now you and forgive me, Kirby Capone, don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way. But I got to ask the question because he's mentioned that, you know, he's gotten a lot of folks enlisted into the unions, the film unions, you know, the guilds of the organization. But at the same time, in the same breath, you said, you know, you're not one to be in any box because the union's gonna treat you like a hoe.
Yeah. Well, you've been researching your ass over there. I better make sure ain't no cameras around this, because you know a lot of stuff. Look at you, boy. Yeah, it's like, you know, everybody has their way, you know. And again, see, I don't blame people who wanted to get into unions because that's a damn good thing. Health insurance and benefits. You know, it's like I've worked on union movies, and those one, the checks are really, really good. But I got, since I in theory retired and stuff, I got some of that you know, I forgot what the hell they call it, but pension and welfare stuff, you know, money that so they, you know, it's a good thing. And when you got family and what union is great. It's just for me.
Right.
For me, when I came up, it was impossible to get in the union if you were Black. It just wasn't happening. When I came back from Vietnam, you know, because I was a navigator in Vietnam, and I had gone to Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island, studied navigation in Loran and synoptic weather and all this stuff. Yeah. And I could have been I wanted to be a tugboat pilot on the Chicago rivers, you know, because that was good money, you know. But that union was set up, it was rigged, it was, and I think it was the Irish guys that it was either Irish or Italian that had that locked up, you know. That union was set up so cold that they said it was only so many union positions, right? And if you were a union member and you died and your position became open, your position don't go out into rotation. The person that has first dibs on your union spot is your son. How sweet is that? You know, so I learned
at its finest.
Yeah. So I learned early on that union work wasn't, you know, in my reality for survival. So I learned how to just survive on myself. And when I came to in Chicago, I opened my studio. My first studio was Foster's Pet and Animal Photography, and that's how I became the first African-American animal photographer in the country. I shot all the cow-can dog food and cat food bags, and I got famous for making kids and animals work well in front of the camera together. And you know, I had my little secrets, which was don't feed the dog the day before the shoot, and take liver. I had liver sausage, and I would rub it all over the kids, you know, before they came into the studio. And and once they got up there, people would say, "Oh, this dog, you know, he doesn't like anybody." It was like Fritz the cat, no, Morris the cat. I remember back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember Morris the cat, but I photographed Morris the cat once. But it put the kid next.
You see, Kirby, you see how he slipped that in there, right? Because he wants you to know that he was the official photographer for the Westminster Academy. He wants you to know that he was doing equestrian events and had some of the best, you know, horses that he was filming, and, you know, going to some of these, you know, high echelon types of facilities, and he was the man back in the day.
Yeah, and still is the man.
Definitely, without question.
Hey man, I took some of the nicest horse portraits that you ever want to see, man. And in 1977, I was charging $1,500 for a horse portrait, and man, that was big money then. It's big money now, actually, according to my phone bill. You know, so it's like. So anyway, I don't know how I got on that, but where were we?
But that's okay, because I'm gonna bring it all full circle, Brother Corder, and you know, I'm not leaving you out of this, Curvy Capone. You know what I'm saying? We gonna jump into it, but like I said, I gotta ask these questions because, you know, we kind of fast track, but we have to go back a little bit, Foster. We got to go back a little bit because you almost lost your life as a child. You almost got beat to death in this black carpeted room with black walls.
Oh Lord. Yes.
You know, and of course, you know, you guys, you and your brother you'd already won some money from the dice game.
Yeah.
And y'all noticed that there was a building that had been burglarized, and they had some change from a phone booth that was down on the ground. And you know, your brother had picked up the change. You know, wanted to go scoop up the change, wanted to just be a little greedy. Why didn't you tell your brother, man, walk away, baby?
You giving me chills, baby. Okay, listen. That story, you know, see what you're talking about now is it gets in. The president of Paramount bought my life story in 1983, and I've done so much since then. That is just incredible. The movie went in and turned around because the Vietnam movies. Variety said that the Vietnam era movie was over with. You know, Hamburger Hill came out and it didn't really do business. It was a critical success, but the public was burnt out because after Apocalypse Now, and then Stallone made 2 or 3 or 4, 1785 Rocky. I mean, Rocky go to Vietnam and then or whatever, and then there was. You know, everybody, Van Damme was making movies over and over in Vietnam, and everybody and their mama, what's the other dude? But it was just Vietnam movie after Vietnam.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, everybody made Vietnam movies, right? So, and when Paramount was going to release mine right after Hamburger Hill, which was an awesome movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should see it, starring Courtney Vance, and but my picture was scheduled to go into production after that, and Varieties put out a issue, and the headline said the Vietnam era movies are over, and so my movie went into turnaround, and it never got made, which is okay because I like to help, you know, be behind getting it made myself. But that period of my life is, I'd much rather see it be a mini series on like a HBO or something, because everybody I know, they thought that The Wire was this awesome show. It's like The Wire is The Wire. Oh, that's a man. Southside of Chicago make The Wire look like school kids camp. You know, going away on the weekend. Right. You run to be on The Wire to get away from Southside Chicago. At that time, you know, because my brother and I used to sneak.
And the reason why you're saying that is because, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? Sure. But the Blackstone Rangers were one of the central gangs in the region.
They were. It was Blackstone Rangers and the Disciples back then.
Okay, and so you came face to face with the founder. Because of that incident.
Absolutely. And he is in prison doing 100 to 200 years right now, and for many, many different things. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't even want to talk about him because it has been said that he has had people hurt, taken out, and several different things from the confines of a government institution. And so I'm just going to leave that alone to the point of
so I understand. So if we're gonna move right along,
get our, I'm just happy.
But that was one of the main reasons why you went to the Navy.
Absolutely, yeah. When I was beaten for 3 hours, hands tied behind my back and hogtied, and very, very, very terrifying. I've told the story before, so. You guys could probably find it out there on the interweb. But I passed out from lack of blood, loss of blood, and woke up in the hospital, and they saved my life. And I went to St. Louis, and I came back because I saw the writing on the wall. I knew I couldn't take the neighborhood much longer. So when I signed up for the Navy. I had taken the GED because I was still 15, and I passed that. And I forged my birth certificate because my mom hardworking Jeanette Carter had gotten me a job in the mailroom at J. Walter Heller, I think it was. They were either a publicity company or an ad agency. I'm not sure. J. Walter Heller. Anyway, I remember when color Xerox machine came out. I was working in the mailroom, and I had learned about different paper stocks and, you know, all of the different things that go into printing, you know, because when you're in the mailroom, you're making copies and doing it. And then it had been black and white copy. First of all, also, did you know that the person behind the Xerox machine was black? Yeah, and they stole the patent and all this stuff. Anyway, I made a birth certificate and used it to go to the Navy. So I came back from St. Louis, and I was so terrified that I got off one bus in like a terminal. It was all one terminal, Greyhound, but this bus stopped at like the number 3, and I walked over to number 5 and got on another bus. It was going to LAX to take these new recruits to an airplane going to San Diego to boot camp. And my life has never been the same. You know, there was 2 moments that changed my life, or 3 maybe. That was one. But I'll tell you this, the one moment that changed my life and could probably change a lot of young people's was I had left boot camp and I got what they call a service school, right? So I was at the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island. It's like a sub base, but that's the Naval War College there. And I was on watch, and it's like about a half a mile from the base. You're sitting out at a fence, and there's a desk in the middle of nowhere. It's just pitch black all around you, and a gate, and you're sitting there at the gate with a 45 automatic full clip, and the buses and taxis would come up and stop, and people. So it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and this sergeant, he's like 6'5", 250 or something, you know. He gets off the bus and he's like pissy drunk. He's just so drunk, he's staggering. And he staggers over and he sits on the desk right in front of me. And he's like drunk, and, you know, he literally pissy drunk, you know. It's like, it's stinking. And he sits there and he leans down and he says, "Quarter, you know, you a stupid nigger." And I was like, "Whoa, Sarge, what the fuck? You know, what's going on?" He's like, "You a stupid nigger." And I'm like, "Sarge, why are you saying this?" You know, and he says, "Cause, you know, you ain't look around. You know, you the only one of y'all here." You know, he said, "You think they want you here?" You know, he says, you know, but no, he said, "But you doing exactly what they want you to do. You flunking out." He said, and I was like, "Oh, sorry." And you got to understand, I was, 15, turning 16. I came from Southside Chicago. I had a chip on my shoulder that fucking you could not move. Okay. I was like full of hate and ignorance. And I hate Whitey and Hunky, and, you know, I ain't gonna learn this shit. You know, fuck these white people. You know, it's like, so he was right. I was flunking out, and he was like, "Well, if you really wanted to piss him off, you get your shit together and pass some classes." He said, "But you ain't gonna do that because you a stupid nigger." And he got up off the desk and walked and went into, walked and went in the barracks. And the next day he didn't remember nothing, but I sat there after he left and I'm steaming, man. I was so fucking hot. It was a wonder I didn't burst into flames, man. And I had the 45 automatic, and I said, I should shoot this motherfucker, you know, because he's drunk and he's pissed all over himself and he's stinking. You know, I could just say he attacked me, you know. Wasn't no cameras back then, you know. It's like, I could just take his ass out, you know, because I was full of that. And I sat there for the next hour and a half or so, and I was thinking, and he was completely right. I wasn't passing the classes. I wasn't learning them. And I was rejecting the education that they were trying to give me. And I was only there because I had scored extremely high on the test. So I sat there and I had an epiphany. And to make a long story short, I got my shit together and I graduated in the top third of my class. And my life has never, ever, ever been the same. Because
so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Foster.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back, you know, from Vietnam and getting into the industry,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, because I know you dealt with some serious elements of prejudice and racism, coming back, hatred towards military vets, and definitely I appreciate and thank you for your service, sir, without question. So, you know, you dealt with that coming home, you know, how people felt about the war, and now you're getting into an industry, you know, the film industry, where there's less than 0.001% of African Americans in the industry, and definitely not having ownership of the industry, and you coming into it in high independent fashion, and then inevitably, you know, having a stakeholder in one of the biggest names in the game right now. Over longevity. I mean, that's the only way I can look at it. Historically, you're an icon in this business because you held the mantle and the moniker, and you still talking about and presenting the Dolemite name to the industry. So talk to us about how, you know, how did you navigate all of that, Foster?
Well, it's I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to be out in front of you know, being a star. It's like so, you know, many people, you know, over the years, they find like Foster, you know, you were before Spike and John Singleton and then all these people. It's like, yeah, but there's people before me, but you know, yeah, and Spike ran up to me when he made She's Gotta Have It on Sunset, and I was with Ren Woods from she was Fanta in the Roots, and I'll never forget that. But that's another. I've just been happy working, man. I was happy being able to work in the craft that I loved, and that's what I set out to do in Chicago when I found out that I could not get into the tugboat pilot union. You know, I said, well, I love this camera because I got my first camera. That's a story when I was overseas. That's another story.
Which one? When you got your first camera, or when you were introduced into the film industry through pornography?
You something else, my brother. They call him Big G for a reason, huh?
I want to know what happened on that bus with you, Snoop Dogg, and them 10 women that they hired. I want to know what happened on the bus.
Man, let me tell you this though. Talk about Snoop. Man, I have so much respect for Snoop Dogg. And it's incredible. He don't even know. It's like it was one time, because again, I've seen the industry and the progression of artists and different stuff, you know. But there was a moment we were doing Snoop's Buck Wild tour. Ken Francis had introduced me to Snoop. Snoop got me the job with Playboy, and he made them hire me. I was the first African American DP. that Playboy ever hired. And that was because they tried to give him just one of their DPs, a white guy, to do this tour with him and Busta Rhymes. It was 2 buses or 3 buses, and leaving LA with like 9 girls on one bus, Snoop on the other bus, and we were on another bus, and Busta was flying in to the different cities. But me and my camera crew and stuff, and we were shooting Miss Buck Wild from LA to New York, and Snoop was stopping, doing concerts along the way, right? And Snoop, made them hire me because Ken introduced me to Snoop and said, this is Foster, he's a cinematographer, and Snoop stood up for me and got the gig. And I'll never forget, I was making like $1,000 a day or something. It was good money, And but we were in like Baltimore or somewhere like that, right? And we had a crew meeting, and Snoop, Snoop is Snoop, right? So he's always got puffing, and so he said, "Cousin, come in," and he was telling a story, right? We all sitting around. It's like 8 of us or something, and this executive from Playboy comes in, right? And he comes in and all authoritative and stuff, and because we're always on schedule, on some sort of schedule, to be somewhere. But Snoop was telling this story, and this guy came in, and he just interrupted and said, "Hey guys, look, yeah, enough with the horseplay and man, let me tell you, Snoop went off like nobody's business, and he was like, you don't interrupt me when I'm talking and I'm doing it." I mean, it was like, I don't know. I was so happy at that moment because you don't know, I guess, and only people can understand, people of color and Latino descent people, and because white people don't understand what that privilege feeling is. They just take it for granted that how they are, because half of them don't know better. It's like it's not based in racism. A lot of times it's just based in privilege. It's just they expect that no matter how much money you got, whoever they can always override you. They can know more than you. Yeah, I can't tell you how many people know more and try to tell me they know more about my shit than I do, but that moment was really special on that tour, because Snoop gained a lot of respect, not just from me, but from everybody, because he stood up, because I've seen so many artists just not take that moment, and because, yeah, it wasn't a big deal, but at the same time, it was a moment, it was and he took the moment to help educate the guy, the guy learned something, he learned how rude he was and how disrespectful he was and how condescending he was, and different stuff. So, yeah, so I had major respect for Snoop, and the fact that Snoop loved Dolemite. Snoop loved Dolemite. Snoop said on, I think Don Randall did a video, and Snoop said, "Without Dolemite, there'd be no Snoop," and I was with Snoop when he did the it wasn't Murder video. I brought Dolemite down on the set. It was I forgot. Don Randall told me the other day, because I get them all mixed up. I'm sorry, I got a million shoots in my head, so they all run together sometimes. But anyway, I love Snoop, man, and I hope he ends up the screening.
But you know, speaking of shoots,
Mhm.
Capitol Records, over
Mhm.
155 music videos in production under your belt,
Kirby,
if not more.
where you get this dude? Is there anything he ain't found out? It's like, so I just agree.
Really done that research,
I
and you know,
just-
people are blowing up my inbox saying they can't get on the live. So I'm thinking that because it's not public, I told them you have to send a friend request. So
Oh wow, it's not live. I mean, they can't. You know, we're streaming on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch.
It's live, but it says friends only, so only the friends can see it on Facebook. It's not public. So they're in my inbox saying I can't get in. It won't open. It won't open. And I'm trying to type and answer everybody.
Oh yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I have plenty more questions that I'm going to ask you, Brother Foster. Kirby, is there anything that you need to ask? Because I've been talking. Because, like I said, you don't understand how excited I am talking to this gentleman. That when I get the opportunity to talk to an encyclopedia, I try to extract and exploit as much information and knowledge that I can. I try to squeeze the onion, the blood out of the turnip.
Yeah, see, I don't have anything to say. I want to hear you guys.
I just agreed to do the show a couple of hours ago, and he done went. I don't know. He must use Chat GPT or AI or something. Pull up
You can't find what I'm talking about on Chat GPT, baby. I promise. I promise you.
Oh my goodness. You can't find it.
No, indeed. You know, because you know, Wilt Chamberlain.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no. Oh, let's get into it, man. You've rubbed elbows and networked with some of the best in the business, man.
Yes,
The Bombada stick.
Bombada stick, yes.
Do you know what that, Kirby Capone? Do you know what that is?
Well,
Just
see,
yes or no.
I don't
Yes
watch
or no.
TV and I don't listen to the radio or anything, so I don't know
This
who
ain't
Wilt
TV
Chamberlain
or
is.
radio. This is in the movies. This is Arnold
I don't watch
Schwarzenegger. This is
movies
Wilt
or
Chamberlain
anything.
playing in the Conan series, and actually the individual who actually designed the stick that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Wilt Chamberlain were fighting in is sitting right before you.
See, and I'm catching up on all of that.
Yeah, that was a moment.
I mean,
it's like,
Brother Foster, I'm not trying to tell you a story. I'm just trying to tell you, I know who you are, man. I'm 55. I grew up on Dolemite.
Hey, 55.
Yes, let me tell you, man.
I read the film credits.
I tell you, you know, that was
amazing.
I'm trying to find that picture because there we go. It's this, Kirby, can you see that?
There it is.
That's the Bombada stick.
That's the Bombada stick.
Chamberlain had that in Conan. That was his weapon that he used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I designed it. It's a whoops. Where'd he go? Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was because when we got to Churubusco Studios in Mexico City, or outside of Mexico. No, it's Churubusco in Mexico City. I get it confused because we were shooting several places in Mexico. They brought out this sword, and it was like Aladdin's long, skinny, curvy sword. And they said, you know, Bombada was supposed to fight Conan at a certain place in the script. And I was like, wait a minute. you can't fight Conan with that. That little skinny ass Aladdin's Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan's sword is this big thick ass blade, man. I was like, no, that ain't never gonna work. You know, I'm like, Arnold do
You
that
got to
muscle.
think about how big Will Chamberlain is too now.
Yeah, but that sword was Arnold. You had to look at Arnold's sword and then Arnold's arms and stuff. So I said, well, we got to come up with something else. And the director, Richard Fleischer, he said, well, Foster, that's, you know, that's what we have. And I mean, if you come up with something else, they'd love to use it. So I went into the prop shop at the studio and see Carlo Rambaldi, who is like the greatest special effects guy and stuff. He made King Kong, you know, so it's like he's the godfather of special effects and all of those, you know,
Wow.
those things, right? So he had a whole shop at Churubusco Studio, and it was a guy named Jose, I think it was, or Jorge, who ran it. And he let me in, and it was a kid in a candy store, man. And so I was just walking around there trying to figure out shit. And I put it together, took an axe blade and turned it upside down. I took a steel ball and I took spikes and stuck it on him. And it was like on a pipe and wrapped it with fur. And we ended up making molds. And that was the weapon that turned out to be the Bombada stick. And I came out with it, and everybody was like, holy shit, they had never seen nothing like that. They'd never seen nothing like that, but it was so cool. And they knew, you know, if you get hit with this, because it's got spikes on one side and a blade on the other, your ass. And then Wilt standing 7'2", swinging at me, ooh, Lord, get out the way. So, yeah, they used that in the movie. And yeah, that was a moment. That was a moment because Arnold, one of the greatest things about Arnold Schwarzenegger, he said,
and you know, a lot of times people don't realize that, you know, before Michael Jordan, you were doing things with professional athletes already on the movie scene.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, Wilt was a special guy, man.
Yes, definitely.
In so many different ways. You know, it's like, so we met because, well, we met at the Santa Monica Athletic Club because I played semi-pro racquetball for a while. I was the teaching pro at the Santa Monica Athletic Club because when I was in Chicago, before I left Chicago, you know, racquetball, I've been playing outdoor racquetball and won several tournaments and stuff. I was good, but I thought I was good until I ran into the guys when I came to California on the indoor courts. See, because California had indoor racquetball and with 4 walls and with a back wall, and I hadn't ever played with a back wall. I was a 3-wall monster, you know, outside. And when I came to California, I learned 4-wall, and I started playing, and I used to teach all the celebrities. And one day, Wilt Chamberlain walked in, and we ended up we started a friendship that just lasted until he died, man. And him and Dolemite was my full-time, you know, friends and side jobs and stuff. And yeah, Wilt, I love him. We hit it off right away because Wilt, he didn't call it cheating when he played a game, no matter what game it is. It could be racquetball, basketball, chess, checkers, you know, tennis, and, you know, whatever. He's like, he didn't call it cheating. He called it, you know, making you pay attention. You know, so it's like if you could have been bowling and he's gonna write down a couple of extra pins if you ain't paying attention.
Well, okay, Foster, I'm gonna throw you another softball before I get into some nitty gritty. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw you another softball before we
All
really
right.
get to some meat and potatoes of this conversation, because you own the rights to the Dolemite name of the franchise. I'm gonna bring this Eddie Murphy shit up, but I don't want to bring it up just yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to sit there and infringe on what's going on with Netflix or anything. But I'm gonna mention it. But
wait a minute. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But before we do that, I have to bring this up because this is another iconic individual in the game as well. I saw you shaking hands with Sidney Poitier, man.
Oh,
yeah. Well, again, hey man, I'm a groupie. You know,
okay,
like the greatest, the greatest are the greatest. You know, and
right.
Yeah, you got to give due to those who deserve it. You know, and yeah, I mean that was a highlight of my life. You know, I mean several. Okay. Yeah, and Nina Simone. You know,
and Nina Simone, yes,
yeah,
definitely.
I mean, Wilt introduced me to Nina Simone, and we had a wonderful relationship and friendship. And I wish that that they had a film industry in Europe, because I would have went, back to Europe with Nina. I mean, that was again, at that point I was a groupie. It's like she could do whatever she wanted with me, because I'm yes indeed, and we're gonna leave it at that, because
okay. But I do have a serious question, a very serious question.
Sure.
I'm kind of I want inquiring minds want to know. Let's just say that, because Dolemite, that whole franchise and that whole with Rudy Ray Moore and everything that you guys built, that whole legacy. I'm trying to figure out why and what was the rift between Rudy Ray Moore and what's his name, man? The comedian that used to write for Richard Pryor. What's the guy's name?
Paul
Mooney. Yeah. What happened there, man? There was
no rift that I know of.
Okay. Because I just never seen them participate in anything together.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that. I think that was just they ran in different circles. But let's back up for a second and clear up the Eddie Murphy thing. It's like, and I think because I went on Comedy Hype, and I said something, and the people, this interweb people out there, everybody with a keyboard think their opinion matters, and so they was like saying a bunch of negative shit. Let me be clear right here on your show. I have nothing but the mad respect for Eddie Murphy, what he's done, and the fact that he did Rudy Ray Moore's story. Okay, he put Rudy in the light that he deserved to be in, and Eddie is one of the biggest actors in the history of Hollywood, and he incredibly fucking talented, unbelievably talented. But I said was that Eddie hurt Rudy, and not in an intentional way. He hurt because Rudy said to me, if he said it one time, he said it 100 times. Cord, why does Eddie hate me so? And not that Eddie hated him. Eddie loved him. But this was what Rudy said to me, because how come he never called me to be in one of his movies? He put everybody else in his movie. Now, this is a fact, okay? I worked with Rudy for 30 years or whatever the hell it was, and I heard this shit over and over and over. We riding in the fucking Cadillac Eldorado with 2 reels of film in the car, four-walling his movies around the country from New Orleans going to Texas or vice versa and on our way to Chicago. I had listened to that shit in the car as we riding on the highway. I listened to it in a hotel as we, going to sleep. I got to listen to it in, the restaurant. We're sitting across from him and he's eating his soup, slurping and talking shit. And why is that? How come I heard just 100 fucking times, why Eddie never put me in one of his movies. That was Rudy's fucking line, so not that Eddie had any intention. Eddie loved
Rudy. And there's no animus, and I don't think there was any vitriol, but I do have a question.
Sure.
If in fact you're going to do a production about Rudy Ray Moore and Rudy has passed at this point, and you're going to do a production after the fact,
right?
Wouldn't you want to enlist individuals that were in the camp to at least collaborate, to consult, to talk to actually get insight and information from?
Right. Yeah. You talking about the fact that they didn't involve me or talk to me or anything around the time when they were making that movie Dolemite Is My Name with Eddie. That wasn't Eddie's fault. That was the producers and the writers and the directors' fault. The people behind the scenes. Eddie never knew about me. They purposely kept Eddie away from me. They never told him Foster Quarter exists. Yeah, of course. If you're going to do anybody's story, I mean, you can't do Rudy Ray Moore's story without fucking talking to me. Okay.
That's right.
And I'm the only filmmaker alive that worked with him. I worked, 4 of his movies, and out of the 7, it's like, give me a fucking break. And I've distributed.
He bestowed you with the ownerships of the rights on your birthday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, but again, they never, they never, Eddie never knew none of that, and then let me tell you something that I kind of felt bad about, right? Because when I was doing the documentary, I produced and directed the documentary, The Legend of Dolemite, right? Which Rudy couldn't understand. Why you want to do? Nobody want to know my story, false. And it was one of the greatest things that ever happened for him. He was so tickled afterwards when he saw people, how people responded to it, right? But in this I really fucking hate, right? Because I was working so hard doing that. I was producing, directing, and I had never done nothing in the theater. So I put this theater production up. It was called Dolemite, way off Broadway, and it had T-shirts and everything. It was at the Ivar Theater in Hollywood. Classic is a iconic theater right off in between Hollywood and Sunset Boulevard in LA. And I put on this show, Dolemite, way off Broadway, and my wife reminded me, because I was so crazy that night because I was operating 3 cameras and shit. I had no budget, so I had 3 cameras going, and I had 1 camera operator and me, and I'm running around and I direct. It was just crazy, right? So I remember my wife told me Eddie Murphy came, because she was at the box office, and she reminded me Eddie Murphy came to that show when Rudy was at the Ivar. And so I know Eddie had nothing but love for Rudy, and I would have loved to have been part of that movie. But my story about Rudy Ray Moore takes place where that movie ended after the premiere of the Dolemite film. I knew Rudy in the more dramatic parts of his life, where there were, it's the good moments and the sad moments, because the community turned their back on Rudy. Now they celebrate him now, but for many, many years, Rudy kind of fell on hard times. We survived because, he always played comedy clubs, and we four-walled his movies around the country. That's where I learned the business cinema, you know, and from the grassroots level. And because, see, the reason that Rudy stopped making movies was, again, it's the business of the business of entertainment. When the megaplexes opened, where they had 10 screens at the mall and stuff, and they wouldn't take black movies because they was afraid that they'd be shooting up the theater and all this stuff, right? So the mom and pop theaters traditionally that we had in the black community were the old big theaters, you know, that rolled over from back in the day where they had the organs and stuff. It was the big theaters like the Woods downtown, and we had in every city around the United States, there was these what were known as the black movie houses, and they were owned, independently owned. So again, it comes down to jobs and you know, tuition and mortgage payments, man. That should be everybody's motivation. So, but when the megaplexes opened, the studios had deals and contracts where the megaplexes would get the prints, and the mom and pop little black theaters couldn't get the prints because they was trying to bring everybody into the eight screen megaplex at the mall. So again, that killed off the black theaters, and that's where, you know, Rudy's bread and butter was around the country. We could go and we played those movie houses, and he showed me how to close off the back box office and let the line back up outside, so people driving past would stare and like, what's going on here? And we go on the radio, we sell stuff, you know, we go to what was like this swap meet or something, and we buy just, you know, it was an assortment of different things we do to keep the hustle going. But one that always stuck out in my mind and I died about was, we go to swap meet and we buy glass ashtrays, right? Like we buy 50 of them for like 5 cents a piece, you know, it come from China, this little glass. We go to what was a copy place like Kinko's today or something, and he take picture of him, and he make like on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, he'd have like 10, 12, 15, 20 different pictures of him. And then we go to the hotel, and he'd sit there in the bed and cut out these little pictures, right, of his of Dolemite. And then he'd take Elmer's glue, and he'd take the ashtray and he'd glue the picture to the bottom of the ashtray. And then we go to the nightclub at night when he's performing, and we set up a table, and I'd sell these ashtrays, Dolemite ashtrays, $5 a piece. Put your butt in my face, right? It was like perfect Dolemite merch, you know. And we sell 50 ashtrays, man. You know, it's like, and that's how we pay for hotel and gas. And so those things, I learned so many things from Rudy, you know. Anyway, I'm old. I don't know.
Look, Brother Foster, while you were talking, of course, our resident comedian, Jarrell Braswell, my good friend, my brother, who's working with me, and of course,
how you doing?
Going across the country, traveling right now, and he's hitting those comedy clubs right now. I know. I told you how excited I was. Y'all think I'm playing and joking. I told you how excited I was just to be able to sit down and talk with you. Kirby Capone, I can't thank you enough for making this connection.
See,
Jasmine, public relations, thank you for making this happen. In terms of us getting together and talking, I know Jarrell has some questions he wanted to ask you too.
Sure.
JB, what you want to ask Brother Foster, man?
Man, it was a lot of them. You asked them a lot of them already, but just experience working with Rudy Ray Moore, man, just coming up with these characters, watching them develop these characters, especially the one with the human tornado. Him having sex with the sheriff's wife, and he come back there and he got them jump down the hill. But nigga, I know there was a stunt man. Like, come on now. Then how you just going into this shit.
You know this ain't no stunt man, it's me, baby.
Yeah, he said, now watch this good shit. And he did that shit and ran that shit back, you know. I come up off that shit too, watching with my granddaddy Coon, man. Then he say, drive, nigga, drive. Put your foot in the tank, nigga. You ain't driving. Put your foot in the tank, nigga, drive. You know what I'm saying? Then that nigga had a shotgun. He had a pump shotgun. He said, "Shit, I gotta rock this shotgun up his motherfucking A." Rock that bitch 3 times and blew the goddamn car. Like, man, come on, man. Like, this shit you couldn't make up.
No, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I tell people, you know what our plans are with the reboot of the franchise is big. It's massive. You know,
Shit, how can I get involved being on the reboot? I'm a huge fan. I know that shit like the back of my hand.
you know,
And
everybody
you won't regret it. And I ain't lying either.
I ain't lying. Everybody will have an opportunity because, you know, my plans for the Dolemite brand is to expand it. The Dolemite brand for me, and it will be for everybody when they see what the master plan is just like the Marvel universe. You know, it's so many characters and so many stories and so many different avenues to take. So, so you know, the Dolemite brand is going to have a lot of things coming in the future. You know, we're doing films. The Daughters of Dolemite is just only one branch and tentacle. There's the Dolemite character itself, which when we reboot, the way I see him is going to be more like the Deadpool character, you know, where he is bigger than life and he can't really be killed, you know. So that in itself is one thing. We have television shows, television series. We have some streaming stuff. We have cartoons and animation. You know, there's my cousin owns a cartoon company in the Philippines, and so we're gonna be expanding the brand in taking it into a whole nother stratosphere. You know, and the only thing I can kind of compare it to is the Marvel universe, where there will be different spinoff and different characters created because until like recently the scary movie franchises, Dolemite was the only true African American film franchise. You know, there was like 7 Dolemite movies, and there were like 2 Shafts or something like that, you know, but maybe 3, but there's no other. When you talk about like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Dolemite is the only thing that you can compare that to. And so we're going to do some great things in the future. So I hope everybody supports it because, again, when you look at what's happening with the studios and the Paramounts and Warner Brothers and the Netflix, you know, the conglomerates, they're all eating each other up, but they're eating each other off of your money, you know. And so how you guys spending money? Ice-T, he just started the OG network, you know, and one of the things I heard him say, which I totally have respect for, is that he said, I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to do anything that anybody could take down and take away, you know. So his brother, you know. So anyway, that's my story.
So now speaking on behalf of that, let's jump into that a little bit, Brother Foster, because now we're talking about ownership. We're talking about ownership of your intellectual property, right?
Correct.
And making sure that no one can infringe upon your copyrights or putting it up on your own server or your own application to stream wherever it is that you want on demand or however you want to do it, put it behind a paywall for video on demand. So how is that structure, you know, going to benefit you moving forward, knowing that, you know, you have the blueprint to make it a win-win for you in your given situation circumstance?
Well, I kind of don't want to go into that. We'll wait. You know, it's another show. I'll come back because I don't want to give away some of the things that we got coming.
Gotcha.
If you can understand that.
Oh no, much respect. I definitely understand, man. You've given me so much. If you don't go back and watch this interview, and I'm gonna have an opportunity to cut and clip, and I'll make sure I get it over to your publicist because there's some great information that came out of this session. I appreciate you for being so open, honest, and vulnerable. Because we've never met before. This is our first time getting on any kind of conversation. We didn't have a phone call, ladies and gentlemen. We did not have a phone call prior to. I reached out to his publicist. His publicist was the middleman and negotiator. He said we're gonna green light it. We went on ahead. I know for a fact he didn't think it was going to be this extensive in terms of me digging deep into his life.
No, you're a dangerous brother. We're dangerous. Yeah, remind me not to get on the bad side of you.
But I appreciate it. And well, let me, before we get off of here, can I sit there and enlist you to come on to another show and us dig off into some more conversation in the near future?
Right now, I can't tell enough people about this movie. And as a matter of fact, before we leave, let me tell you about The Daughters of Dolemite, which is why we're here. And this movie, I'll tell you the story. What the story is about, it's sort of it's a Tarantino type script where it's sort of like Pulp Fiction, where you got multiple storylines going on. It's a high level of screenwriting. Now, not the fact that pump my own horn just because I wrote it with my partner Ruth Atkins Robinson, but it's like Crash or Pulp Fiction meets Mel Brooks, Spaceballs or something. But the story is about Willie Buffon, which is the character that I happen to play. Willie is a thief, and he wins the lotto, the $20 million lottery, and he gets busted by the police, which is Hawthorne James, the day that he wins the lotto. But before he gets busted and goes to jail, he hides the lottery ticket. So the lottery ticket is good for a year. And the judge gives Willie a year and a day. So now he's got to find somebody who he can give the lottery ticket to that can cash it in and keep the money and split the money with him until he gets out. So what he does is he gives 3 cons who are getting out of jail a clue, each one of them a clue. And he writes Dolemite a letter and tells him, hey, interview these different cons, get the clues, and I know you smart. You'll figure out where I put the ticket, and you get it and cash it in and hold the money from me. Well, these cons are characters in themselves. Michael Collier plays one. He's a con man, doctor / attorney, which he's got no medical degree nor a license, and there's another character who's a transsexual prostitute. And there's another character who is blind Mexican who sells erotic, pornographic ice cream by the Watts Tower, and then Willie's wife, who is Tori Hart, she has a gang of 3 hard-bodied chicks who beat Dolemite up. They kidnapped Dolemite and beat him up, and because they're looking for the lottery ticket. So, and then there's Kathleen Bradley, who is a probation officer for the 3 cons, right? And she plays Officer Lock 'em Up Lottie, and she sexually abuses her parolees before she allows them to get on parole. Her line is, I have to make sure these cons are ready for the public again. So that's like the cast of characters, that you have. And it's always something on the screen that, but it's kind of, how do I say it? It's smart comedy, I guess. You know, you have to pay attention and listen because a lot of it is in the words and you know, so it's not like slapstick. And okay, that takes me to exactly what my point being. See, people say, well, you're going to do it like Rudy did. Rudy, nobody can do what Dolemite did. Nobody can do what Rudy did. See, Rudy, the authenticity, he was so honest. He was so bad, he was good. You know, it was the fact that he didn't know how to act.
Yeah.
Was just, yeah. You know, it's precious. You could not teach anybody that. You know, that was straight out of him. He wanted to be a movie star on the screen and bring that character. So he did what he had been seeing, but ignorance is bliss, you know, and thank God for all of us. He did not realize, you know, how bad it was, you know, it's like, and that's a blessing. I mean, and so nobody could do that. You can't recreate that. I mean, that is what it is. But I can keep the character going. I can keep the brand going. And I can keep the promise that I made to Rudy and keep it going. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes, indeed. I will say this. I think the gentleman's name was Brandon T. Hooks, comedian Brandon T. Hooks.
Brian Hooks.
Yeah,
Brian Hooks. My apologies. My apologies. Brian Hooks. He said, you don't play on set, man. He said, you ain't going for that shit. You quick to cuss a motherfucker out.
Hey, man, you see that? I'm a Navy guy.
It be like that sometimes. I'm a veteran myself, Marine Corps veteran.
That's right. See, I mean, you know, you don't have to worry about getting cussed out if you don't fuck up.
Yeah,
right.
Shit. It's like, hey, because if I fuck up, I want to get cussed out. You know, because you got to keep folks in check. Rolling.
Yeah,
you know, keep folks in check, man. And
yes,
you know, and if truth be told, you know, if you can't cuss your friend out and they don't leave, you know, if they walk out on you, they wasn't your friend, you know. Yeah. So, you know, it's like I could tell you some good stories, but I'll leave it there.
Okay. Well, look here, Kirby.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed, Kirby. Look, baby, I appreciate you for making this connection. We're gonna have to follow up again and get you on and talk to you about what you got going on.
But G, now you don't owe her that money no more, though. That's the cool thing, you know. So y'all even, right?
I still gotta get paid, though. I gotta get paid.
So,
yes, I think I did my song and dance to put a little work in tonight. I think so. I believe so.
But you still owe that interest, though. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
You know, right. you know them long sharks. You know, you took care of the debt, so but that interest.
So Kirby, I mean, Foster said that you were the vocalist on that track.
Well,
yeah.
Was that you?
Yeah.
It's Kirby Capone, but I bet you think it's Nikki.
Kirby a triple threat, buddy.
Okay.
You wait to see what
we're gonna have to definitely get into it, man. We're gonna reschedule you for your own show, your own talk topic, and we're gonna get into it, Kirby. But I appreciate you for making that connection with Mr. Quarter for me. JB, I appreciate you for joining us tonight. Yes, Foster, man, this has been a great episode. I'm getting to know you, getting to know historically who you are as an icon in the film industry and in the game, period. I mean, you've been through it all, and we have to really show you a huge amount of appreciation. And definitely, I don't know about the giving the flowers thing. I mean, you still living, you give people flowers when they did, but at the same time, you know, you still kicking and doing your thing.
Well, do this for me though.
Go ahead, talk to me.
Okay. If the police or my probation officer call y'all, we've been on all day. Okay.
I don't mind being complicit in the crime. I don't mind. I'm telling you right now. I got your back, baby. If that's
All
what
right.
we need to say.
Thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure. Thank you so
It's
much.
definitely a pleasure, man. I appreciate you. And hey, man, you've been on another great episode of Industry Talk. And you all know, man, as always, it's about health, wealth, and wellness.
Stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous, people. Stay dangerous. What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G. And this is my personal invite to all of you to join me on Industry Talk on the Prime Time Network daily at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I get into great conversations with entrepreneurs, artists, industry leaders, you name it, we bring it to the table. So make sure you tap in with us, lock us in, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And we stream on all major platforms. And be sure to visit us at gemsitpublishing.com. This is Industry Talk. Let's get into it.
Most